Will tariffs lead to more trade deals? Where are you tonight on this?
Yeah, I think so. Look, the one thing we know, there's a lot of uncertainty. That's right. Chuck Schumer's right to raise the issue that people just don't know a lot, don't know as much as they knew 2 weeks ago. But the one thing we do know is that now the administration is taking the position tariffs are there as negotiating leverage. Aside from China, that's a little bit different because that's geopolitical as well. But most of the tariffs are there as leverage for trade deals. So yes, we're going to get more trade deals out of this.
Chris?
I mean, this was a great idea when it was the Trans-Pacific Partnership. This was a great idea. Look, admitting you're wrong, saying you made a mistake, saying that it didn't work is hard. It's one of the hardest things to do in politics. But I have found consistently that voters are very forgiving of politicians who say, we tried something, it didn't work, whoops, we're backing off it. Voters are very forgiving in that way. But getting back to the place where we were on this question in 2016, which was when we were moving toward trying to get the world together to gang up on China, is not going to be fast. And that's really the problem here. You want to do it, great, okay. And I'm not convinced at all that the administration is really ready to do that. But if they were, and they started working on this, it's a couple of years, right? This is a very long-term, effort to hammer out these bargains.
All right, Mick, Q2 here. Manufacturing, the impact there, how do you see it?
Generally, it should be good. If we have more fair trade deals overseas, it should help manufacturing. It's just going to look different than it would have looked, I think, if we were using tariffs as a way to get manufacturing back directly. Textiles are not coming back. Furniture is not coming back. But these deals, assuming they happen, and they need to happen. It's the big thing for the Trump administration now, Blake. They need a couple of deals early. Should help tech, should help services, should help generally the economy that we've built. We're not going back to 1978, but this could look really, really good in 2026.
Chris?
The idea that we need clarity from the administration on which it is. I agree with everything that Brother Mulvaney just said. That is all true, if that's what they mean. And they seem to go back and forth on this question of basically you've got Team Musk that says what Mick is saying,
right?
Lower barriers, let the U.S. outcompete the other countries. Yeah, it's not going to be, we're not going back to 1975 was the last year that the United States was a net exporter. We're not going back there, but we're going to make it better. Do you hear that? And then the next day, and I don't think anybody knows where the president's going to be on Monday.
I'm going to get to that observation in a second here. I've got an observation for you, Mulvaney, that I'm going to float out there. But lastly, real quick, the question involves lower prices. I don't think anyone's going there. What about higher prices?
Yeah, prices are going up in the short term. There's no question. I think the Trump team needs a couple deals quickly to sort of send the message. They also need to kick their deregulatory agenda, their energy policies into high gear. They also need to review something they've refused to look at so far, which is exemptions. There are some tariffs that simply make no sense at all because we are never going to produce the stuff here. We did this in the first term. We had tariffs without inflation because we did exemptions. They need to revisit that in the next 90 days.
Okay. The slight damage to manufacturing pre-COVID in the first term, and as Mick says, the damages were mitigated from these things in a lot of different ways. But if they don't get a big tax cut and they don't get the Fed to bring rates down and they don't do a bunch of stuff to juice the economy around this, the prices will be politically devastating.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.